Hi everyone, I'm Huub Hildenbrand. Thanks for tuning into my channel, Huub Hildenbrand Guitar Academia. Today we have lesson 11, the last lesson of the E minor tonality part of the course on tonal harmony. And in this course we take a more linear approach to tonal Western harmony by combining the theory of functions with the chord-scale system. And in this lesson we will talk about the augmented sixth chord. So let's get right into the endless ocean of music. So please go down in the description below. There is a link for PDF for this lesson. And this will be the last lesson of the E minor part of this course. Maybe I would do some like mini lessons later concerning like different questions or maybe even corrections or different views. Or a more broader explanation of different subtopics here of the previous lessons. So I'm also thinking a bit like that the whole thing can also still like grow. So maybe for the third lesson there is I introduced you to a certain concept, or I said something very briefly. And then I may make a new lesson later where I go. I just take this topic as our subject, and I will explain that more, or we go more into depth and more into detail about with it. Okay, today the augmented sixth chord. And there are different augmented sixth chords, and we will talk only about one, which also have like different variations. But we are in the minor tonality now, in E minor, and in the E minor tonality there is one augmented sixth chord which is very common also. Which is very natural and very much connected with the minor tonality. So we will talk about that here. Later on we have a different augmented chord. We will talk in the part of the course where we are in E major, because this chord is more related to major. But later on we can just take one. I mean, you can just mix it. We can just take the augmented chord from the major tonality and use it in minor and vice versa. So this is like I just decided for that concept because to start now in the E minor tonality with this augmented chord is very natural, and you will really understand that and the sound also. So okay, I also have this PDF here in front of me, and I will take a lot of looks on it because to follow the page, and maybe I forget something here, and it's also a bit not so straightforward as what we had before. Also the scale and so on. But anyway, augmented sixth. What does it mean, augmented sixth? In our case, an augmented sixth is the interval between C and A sharp. So you might say, well, that's also just a minor seventh. Yeah, but then I would call it C to B flat, or B sharp to A sharp. An augmented sixth is a chord which has actually quite some tension, and the the resolution of an augmented sixth is the octave. And of course, when I'm just playing that, okay, it sounds nice or whatever, but you will not get that tension. You have to make always, I mean, for all these, this is maybe true for most of the stuff we are talking here. It's like the situation, the context. The context really can make one sound or one interval very consonant, very restful, settled, but the same interval it can sound very dissonant. It should resolve somehow, and that's also kind of true with that interval here. So we call this that note an A sharp and not a B flat because it's an augmented sixth. So we are raising the A to the A sharp, and we raising to alter a note with a sharp, or to alter it to go higher. It also implies the tendency to move forward and resolve, like an augmented interval is a dissonant interval, and it resolve up. The top note will go up. So we have A, C and A, and then we go to C A sharp, and we have this augmented sixth, and then we go to B and another B. So the top note is moving up a half step, and the lower note is moving down a half step. And we use it with subdominant function. So subdominant function, this chord, or this interval, we will discuss this chord a bit later. This interval, we will analyze it with subdominant function. And subdominant function in that case means we prepare the dominant. We can also say it has double dominant function. So it's a kind of the dominant of the dominant. So it wants to go to the dominant, and the dominant goes back to the tonic. And this kind of preparation, this tension going to the dominant, this is our, we describe as subdominant function. But not only that, it's also derived directly from subdominant chords. So, for example, we can derive that from A minor, so our subdominant minor chord on the 4th degree. Now A, in this case in the bass, moves up to A sharp and resolves to B major. And the nice thing is, because we have two B's, move one B down to A, to the minor sevenths, B7, B dominant sevenths, and still have our root, and resolve that further to some kind of E minor chord. So that's the sound, and when I'm going from A in A minor to A sharp, you hear, oh, okay, that's a tension, and that's a beautiful resolution. Maybe you would not immediately expect that, most naturally expect that resolution, but when you resolve it to that chord, it sounds really logic and really nice. Okay, so this is your augmented 6, and you have different. You can also explain this chord. Also A going up to A sharp, but in this case not from A minor but from F sharp diminished. And you remember F sharp diminished we can also explain as A minor with a sixth instead of the fifth. We talked about that. Check out the previous lessons. Also, if you don't understand something, I think it will pretty much clear up when you really start this 11 lesson course from the beginning. And if you still have a lot of, or if you still have questions, please leave them in the comments, and I will read every comment, and I will answer you, or maybe put another video out, or yeah. You can also contact me directly, of course, via email. It's all on my website. Okay, so it's also possible to derive this augmented sixth chord from F sharp diminished. So, and the A moves up to A sharp, and then the whole thing resolves. Like in this way, we miss a little bit the third now in this dominant chord. If we resolve like correctly. For that reason, actually, it's very often in classical music, it's very often like 4-part harmony harmonization you use. I can play F sharp diminished with a doubled root, and then I bring my A to A sharp, and then my resolution is a triad. Then I can the triad of the dominant triad, and this I can make a dominant seventh out of that and resolve that back to the tonic. That's possible. That's nice. So E minor, so I go from A, F sharp diminished, up to A sharp, resolve it to the root of B major or B dominant sevenths, or B major, and then I go from the B to the minor sevenths again, back down, resolving to the E to the minor third of E minor. So this is like. That's good voice leading. That's the beauty of voice leading, to glue together different harmonic structures. Not only harmonic, actually. If I play like arpeggios and I do that in a melodic way, it's also the voice leading is also there. So we can derive our augmented sixth chord from the minor, the subdominant minor, triad, and from the diminished chord on the second degree, F sharp diminished. We also can derive, we can also have 4-part structures, 4-part harmony here. We can go from A minor 7 and then raise the root, and then go further to, or like yeah, and if I do that, that's very interesting, because that's what is happening actually. I'm going from A to A sharp, and what is this? Well, actually that's just an inversion of a C dominant 7th chord. And we already had this chord. You remember? We had this chord as a tritone substitution for the secondary dominant going to the dominant. So the dominant is B, dominant 7, and we can have a secondary dominant for that chord. This would be F sharp dominant 7, and then we can, from this F sharp dominant 7, we can substitute that chord, that sound, with its tritone substitution. So we have C dominant 7 going down to B, resolving to the dominant. So this is also, and I told you when we had this lesson that we will talk about that, this is also another way of thinking, of deriving that chord. And what's very typical that in classical traditional harmony, you would say this is an augmented 6 chord. In jazz, you would say it's a tritone substitution. So it's like, and in a way it's the same. Of course, the resolution is quite a bit different then, because when you say it's a tritone substitution, C7 to B7, mostly you would just bring the C7 down every voice 1/2 step, or at least like the root, third, and seventh. So like a kind of a similar movement, it's the same. Whereas the augmented 6th chord requires that you put the augmented 6 in a different kind of a resolution, voice leading. The A sharp has to go up, so it's not, but it's. And then after that, of course, you can go down. So instead of, yeah, but in a way, it's very connected. It's very similar. It's very almost the same thing. The tricky part is, of course, then the scale, because this difference that I'm calling that note B flat or calling it A sharp is a bit tricky when it comes to constructing a scale which represent that sound, that augmented 6th sound. But we come to that quick. There's just one more 4-part structure we can derive our augmented 6th chord, and that's the F sharp minus 7 flat 5 chord. If you have F sharp minus 7 flat 5, we can raise our third again, like as we did. I mean, it's the same as what we did with F sharp diminished, but now we also have the minus 7th in it. Yeah, minus 7th, the E added. So A goes to A sharp, and then the whole thing resolves to B minor, B major. Yeah, and especially in the context, this is that's quite nice. If I'm, yeah, I show you. Nice voice, the A to the A sharp, like branching out of the tonality. It's like an extension of tonality, but it branches out but finds its destination in the tonality very quickly, going to the B and then being resolved and stable. Diatonic in the E minor key. So, and for all these four, for 3 of these 4 possibilities, how we can derive the chord, it's always a different chord, of course, like A minor going to that chord, or A minor 7 going to that chord, or F sharp diminished, F sharp minor 7 flat 5 going to that chord. They have all names, actually. We have this Italian 6th, German 6th, French 6th, and you have them all on the page, and it's very cool to say, hey, I'll play a French 6th chord there. But I think most of the people you're talking to will not know what you're talking about. But it's very cool to have the names here, and of course, it's assumed that these names actually really come from where they're at a certain time used most frequently, or where it's really a big part of the style of this geographic area or country. Okay, now scale. In jazz, we have it very simple because we don't call this chord an augmented 6th chord. We don't have an augmented 6th chord. We never care about an augmented 6th interval, I think, more or less. It's just, we would just say, oh, it's a tritone substitution, and we would play a scale which is just Mixolydian sharp 11 there. And we can do that. We can do that if we are really clear about our melodic movement when it comes to the resolution. So what we can do is really to play just this C Mixolydian sharp 11, but then resolve the B flat up to the B when going to B dominant 7. Okay, that's one possibility. Especially when of course, I mean, it's a good idea to also, what I just did, I just played after E minor chord, I just played this C7 chord. It's in this context, it's maybe good really to come from A minor. Yeah, so if I play E minor, then I do a secondary dominant, E7. A minor, now. That you really get this idea of A going to A sharp, going to B. If you put together all these different four augmented sixth chords which are on this page, then you come up with a pentatonic if you put them all together. So that's also kind of a possibility to play the whole pentatonic. It sounds like that. that actually, you're not able to show that this note is really is not an A sharp, because actually it's really it's a bit tricky there. It's really yeah, it's really tricky because the thing is, when you have an augmented sixth, it means there can't be, in this case, there can't be another A in the scale, because you just have one sixth step, one sixth, one A, one kind of an A, and that's the sixth, and so you have the A sharp, so the A is not possible anymore. Could be a G double sharp, but this would be really strange. But so if you have an A sharp and you call this augmented sixth, and you have the C here, which is the root, then normally a scale would ask, where is my seventh? And there's only one note left between these two, so you would have a major seventh. And a major seventh is already our resolution, yeah, when we go to B7 or B major. And also it's considered like chromatic in a way. This is also a topic we will discuss. It's already like, I already prepared everything for this. About scale construction, we will talk about that. So in that scale, in this case, if you have A sharp and C, you would always, I think you would always hear this A sharp as a B flat. It's always a minor seventh, because you have the root, the octave here, and then you have that note. And then if you do this pentatonic, like C, E, F sharp, G, B flat, or A sharp, C, it just sounds as if the A is missing. You just leave out the A and the D. So it's a B flat, and you also have an A. So that's the sound. To be really sure that you have this augmented sixth sound, in this case, it's good to avoid like pure like scale, like chord scale playing, like all the notes. It's much clearer, to really make this clear, you can only play like very selected notes. This was what I call like 3-note structure or 4-note structure, for example. And then you also have to make clear this voice leading, A to A sharp to B. So, for example, you can play this F sharp diminished with this raised minor third. You can play this as an it's like a hard diminished triad. So like when I come from A minor, for example, like A minor, for example, A minor with a D, and then yeah, then it's more transparent, it's more clear, it's more you take less notes, and they're really well selected to make clear that kind of a sound. And you can try out all these different structures there, like this maybe not the C7, and also maybe not this A minor with a sharp 1, but like this hard diminished, try it from F sharp, so F sharp diminished with a raised third, minor third. It's really really good, really clear also. Actually, I'm just thinking about that. Yeah, maybe because you don't have all the other scale notes, it can be it's more open to interpretation, so to speak. So it's not, when you have that, it's more open. It's more ambivalent. Yeah, and that's why it works, I think. And this other chord, it's also very nice, actually, because it's also like, it's a symmetric chord. This C7 flat 5, or you can call it C, from C root, augmented force, diminished force, augmented force. So it's like a 4-part force structure. It's like, and it's also very mysterious, unclear, not very centered. Where's the root? And then this can also be resolve very very nicely, and you have this augmented sixth. You can very easily explain that movement as an augmented sixth movement. It's not you don't hear it's a minor 7 going up in this case. It's for example, from F sharp, if I look at it from F sharp, if I say, okay, F sharp is my root, because I don't know what is my root here, then it would be like A sharp and B sharp, for example. So that implies that there's no B in between. You see? So just keep in mind, to really have this augmented sixth sound, you have to be really really careful with which notes you are choosing, which collection of notes you are choosing. If you use what we did, like a whole scale, it's not sounding as an augmented sixth anymore. So you have to choose your notes wisely, and also be very very precise and clear with your voice leading, how you proceed, that you really do this A sharp, B movement, yeah? That you really so really make that clear. You have to be really conscious here. It's a bit a different story than what we had so far. When we come more from jazz, of course, we can say, okay, it's just Mixolydian sharp 11, it's a C7, it's a tritone substitution. But here it's a bit tricky. So this chord scale system is not really working perfectly, you can say. Of course, you can use this Mixolydian sharp 11 scale, but then you have to make sure that you resolve it properly. So for example, if I've and then yeah. Please let me know whether maybe you miss some informations, or you are really happy with this course here, and I will not directly go on with this course on major, on E major and all these functions. I will take a bit of a time and do other stuff, and maybe I get some good feedback from you, that I maybe do the next lessons of that course maybe a bit different, or maybe I have to make other things more clear before proceeding, actually. So maybe I take an intermediate step and do like some lessons about the basics you actually need for that. But as I said, I'm really thinking that you can find these basics, like there are a lot of sources online or books, and it's not secret knowledge. It's very common and very basic. I think so. Okay. Anyway, but it's always great to have some feedback, to know, to learn about what you're thinking. Okay, so that's it. If you like these lessons here on my channel, Huub Hildenbrand Guitar Academia, please don't forget to subscribe, and you can also support my work here. Just follow the link down in the description below on my website. There's a button where you can donate. Also, downloading these PDFs, of course, helps me. It's also great support. And yeah, that's it for this E minor part of the course, and I hope you enjoyed it and it inspired you. So see you again on Friday with another adventure. Thanks for watching. My name is Huub Hildenbrand.